Welcome back to the series of videos on how to make mini coracles. This episode I'm going to show you how to make the skin on your coracle. That's the bit which means it separates the water from the air and gives your coracle buoyancy. And if you've made yourself a good solid frame, then you'll be sorted and it'll be great. If you've not, then well, you can tweak it a little bit and I'm sure it'll still work. In this video clip, you can see me adding the skin to the frame that I've rooted in the grass in my garden. In the first video, I described what you need. I'm using just gathered recycled bits of paper here. I've mixed the waterproof glue with water, 50-50 in the tub, and I've got a sheet of plastic on the table that I've covered using the sponge with the dilute glue. This means if I put a piece of paper on the plastic and then use the sponge on the other side, I get glue on both sides of the piece of paper. I can then take the piece of paper and lay it on the frame, and that works. Then I can do the same to another piece of paper and overlap it slightly so that I start to make a continuous skin which covers the whole of the boat. If I do this in several layers, then that means I get a continual skin and the overlaps hold everything in place. I think I did about 3 layers of paper, but you could really do just as much as you have in your recycling bin. Some types of paper will work differently to other types of paper, so it's a good opportunity to explore the materials and find out which ones work best. One of the really cool things about working with PVA glue is that you can peel it off your hands. And it's a bit like peeling the skin off your hands. How many layers of skin do you have? How many layers of PVA glue can you peel off? And it's slightly elasticated as well. It's really cool. Okay, so if the glue on your plastic goes dry, you can just put a little bit of water on it. If you run out of glue in here, you just need to add some more. Remember, the important part of science is measuring. And if you ever look at an artist who's not using a ruler, they're still measuring, but they've taken years of unseen time learning to measure with their eyes and by judging proportion. Thing is, you can only ever learn that by practice and by doing lots of measuring first. So if you ever see someone who makes something look easy, then it's because they've spent 10, 20 years of it not working, but keeping going. So the important thing isn't to make everything work right, or the important thing isn't that all the things you do look brilliant. The important thing is that you can notice when they don't look brilliant, and you've got the energy and the people around you to keep going until they can look better. So, this is where you find out if your tissue paper is wet strength or not. If it's wet strength tissue paper, then this is easy. If it's not wet strength, then it will start sticking and then it will tear as you lift it up. Do you see how nice and easily that just folds over the cover frame there? If it was an animal skin, then you'd be doing a similar thing. You'd be soaking the animal skin and then stitching the sides of the animal skin together to make a nice big, long, one skin really. And when that was soaked, you could stretch it over the frame. And sew it around the sides until it fitted all nice and snugly. And you'd have a coat or your basket that you could float in. So this is making a toy, and it's using paper and glue, because that's what's easy to find. This type of boat has been made in many different ways over history. So the old way is the willow and the animal skins. The toy way is paper and glue. But you could also use canvas. Or maybe you could use other things. If you were trying to escape a country where your life was in danger, or run away from the plague before your family got infected, and you came to a big body of water like a river or a loch or the sea, what could you use to make a boat out of? What would you use for the ribs? What would you use for the skin? Blows in the wind. So really, the skin isn't made out of paper. It's made out of two things. It's made out of the paper and it's made out of the glue. And this type of glue is a PVA glue. You get other glues where you would mix two components together, like epoxy resin glues. So you could get a form of matting, maybe even paper, and if you soaked that in epoxy resin and laid it across a frame made out of wood, then you would make a fiberglass boat. And that would have a really tough skin.